My mum wasn't comfortable. From the very first mention of Zina, her spirit started to shake. I could tell, the way her eyes narrowed, the way she rubbed her palms together like someone trying to stop a cold chill. She sat on the edge of the sofa that day, wrapper tied tight, face serious. "A marker," she said slowly, like she was speaking to a child. "Why would a human being refuse to show her face? What is she hiding?" I rolled my eyes, smiling at her old-school ways. "Mummy, relax. Some people just like privacy." But she wasn't smiling back. Privacy is one thing. This one is hiding. And spiritual things are real. Oh, don't be deceived by packaging. That was her favorite phrase. Spiritual things are real. And I knew she meant it. She was the kind of woman who prayed over every salt grain and couldn't sleep if a picture frame fell by itself. But this time, she was more than just concerned. She was afraid. "She's just private, Mum," I told her. "Everything is going fine." I didn't want her to kill my vibe. But her frown deepened. "This one you're calling fine, I don't trust it." "No face, no peace," she said again, voice almost a whisper, like she was talking to herself. She looked around the room then, like someone was watching us. She didn't want to drink water, didn't want to eat, just sat there, clutching her wrapper like it could protect her from whatever invisible presence she felt. I was too deep into the fantasy to see what she saw. But now, I wish I had listened. The wedding was like a dream. No, it was better than a dream. It was like I stepped into a movie. A perfect fantasy. Everything sparkled, from the chandeliers to the polished marble floors. My dress shimmered like morning dew, soft and weightless, sewn with crystals that caught every flash from the camera. People gasped when they saw me. Some even cried. I could see it on their faces, that look that said, "She did it. She got the fairy tale." My husband, Deji, looked like royalty in his ivory tux. We held hands, smiling so wide our cheeks hurt. There was laughter, music, praise, envy. But Zina, still a ghost. No appearance. No message. Nothing but her invisible presence, woven into every flower petal and glass of champagne. At the reception, right after the couple's first dance, Mr. Ray appeared from nowhere, just like always, holding a small white box. He bowed slightly before speaking. "A gift from Zina," he said in that cold, rehearsed tone. "A token of your union. You must both wear these. It seals the memory." Inside was a silk veil, soft and pale like mist. And beside it, a sleek black designer tie. No brand label. No note. Just the items, and the strange energy that came with them. I looked at Deji. He looked at me. We both smiled, thinking it was just another luxury touch. We wore them. Everyone clapped. Cameras clicked. My mother frowned from her seat. Something about the moment felt thick. Like the air had changed. But I was too caught up to notice. I didn't know we had just sealed something. Not a memory. A deal. One we'd pay for, in full. For 9 years, our life was beautiful, almost too beautiful. Deji and I were inseparable. We laughed until we cried. We took spontaneous trips. We built our dream home from scratch. There were candlelit dinners, movie nights, matching pajamas, the whole fantasy. People used to say, "You two are what love looks like." Sometimes I would just sit on the edge of our bed, watching him sleep, and whisper, "Thank you, God." Everything we touched seemed to flourish. Business boomed. We had no major fights, no scandals, no secrets. It felt divinely blessed. But now, I wonder, was it really blessing, or a countdown master's piece? Then came the morning of our 10th anniversary. I woke up before Deji. The sun was pouring into the room softly. I wanted to surprise him with breakfast in bed. So I headed to the kitchen, turned on the radio, and cracked eggs into a bowl. That's when I heard it. Breaking news. Celebrity couple Dunny and Tega Omar were found dead this morning in their Banana Island home. There were no signs of struggle, no injuries, and no known health conditions. Authorities say the cause of death is still under investigation. The spoon dropped from my hand. My body froze. That name, Dunny, I knew it. She was one of Zena's brides. Her wedding had trended just like mine. I remembered the photos, the flowers, the exact veil I wore. It was the same. My blood turned cold. That was the first domino. I didn't know more were about to fall. I couldn't shake the feeling. That strange weight in my chest wouldn't go away. Something kept whispering, check. Just check. So I did. I sat down, laptop open, fingers trembling as I typed Weddings by Zena into the search bar. What I found nearly stopped my heart. Page after page, blog after blog, they all praised her. The invisible genius, wedding whisperer, queen of elegance. But then, I dug deeper. Buried beneath the glitz and praise were forgotten articles. Obituaries. Posts no one bothered to connect. A couple who drowned in Zanzibar. Honeymoon trip turned tragedy, on their 10th anniversary. Another couple who died in a freak house fire. It happened in the dead of night, flames swallowing their bedroom, same day, 10 years after their wedding. No survivors. Same pattern. Same planner. Zena. My fingers went cold. I was breathing too fast. I pressed my hand to my chest, trying to calm down. But I already knew. This wasn't coincidence. I called Deji. Showed him the articles. Babe, I think this is serious, I said, voice shaking. But he chuckled. A marker, you're letting fear drive you. People die every day. You can't connect everything to Zena. I wanted to believe him. But something inside me refused to rest. That night, I couldn't sleep. The shadows in our room felt thicker. The silence, too loud. So I tiptoed into the study, turned on the reading lamp, and pulled out our wedding contract. My hands were sweating as I flipped the last page. And then I saw it, so faint, it almost blended into the paper. Guaranteed 10 years of bliss. At the end of term, the balance must be paid in full. My vision blurred. My hands trembled. What balance? What did we owe? I held the paper closer to my face. It was real. I hadn't imagined it. We didn't just sign a wedding contract. We signed a countdown. The moment I saw that cursed line in the contract, my mind snapped back to the gift, the silk veil and the tie. I remembered how we wore them so proudly at the reception. How everyone clapped. How Mr. Ray said, "It seals the memory." No, it sealed something else. Something we didn't understand. I jumped up and ran straight to the storage room. Deji followed, confused. I threw open the cupboard doors, digging through boxes, decorations, old wedding albums, until I saw it. A white box. Still there. Untouched since the wedding. My hands were shaking as I opened it. Inside, neatly folded, still smelling faintly of lavender, were the veil and the black designer tie. I screamed. We have to burn them. Deji grabbed the box and followed me outside. We dragged out the old metal drum we used for trash burning. I lit the match with trembling fingers. The fire caught slowly, then began to grow. First, I threw in the veil. The silk curled and twisted as the flames touched it, almost like it didn't want to burn. Then Deji threw in the tie. The fire roared to life. For a brief moment, the flames turned blue, then shot straight up like an explosion. We both stepped back, terrified. Then suddenly, the flames died. Gone. Like someone had snapped their fingers and snuffed them out. I stared at the ashes, heart thudding. My hand was still clutching my phone. Then, it rang. Unknown number. My body stiffened. I slowly raised it to my ear. Hello. I whispered. Silence. For a long, bone-chilling second. Then, a voice. Fire cannot save you. The voice was inhuman, layered, echoing like it came from inside a tunnel of nightmares. The deal was sealed the moment you wore it. Then came laughter. Cold. Sharp. Wicked. The kind that makes your spine go numb. I dropped the phone and screamed. I couldn't sleep. Not after that call. Not after the fire. The voice kept echoing in my head like a curse I couldn't silence. The deal was sealed. I needed answers. I needed to understand who, or what, Xena really was. So I did the only thing I could think of. I went back online. I found a forgotten blog post, the kind that had been buried under years of digital dust and hateful troll comments. The post warned about a wedding curse, claiming couples were marked. Most people laughed it off. But one comment stood out. It wasn't just a reply. It was a warning. It read, "If Xena planned your wedding, go to the old house on number 8 Ireti Street. That's where you'll find the truth." No username. No replies. Just that chilling message posted years ago. I didn't even think. I grabbed my phone, keys, and flew out of the house. It was raining. The kind of soft drizzle that feels like warning tears from the sky. My hands trembled as I started the car. I plugged in the address. The GPS glitched for a second, like the location didn't exist. But then it showed up. Ireti Street. 22 minutes away. My heart raced with every turn I took. I kept thinking, what if this is where it all ends? As I turned into the narrow, silent street, I saw the house instantly. It stood out, old, wooden, leaning like it had survived too many storms. The windows were shut. Paint peeling. The whole place looked like it had been forgotten by time. I parked across the road, breathing heavy, trying to gather my courage to step out. Then, I froze. My blood turned to ice. I saw someone walking out of the house. A man. He wore a hoodie. He turned slightly, just enough for the streetlight to catch his face. My hands gripped the steering wheel so hard I thought it would snap. It was Deji, my husband, walking out of the same house I was just about to enter. I couldn't breathe. I sat frozen in my car, watching the man I shared a bed with walk out of a house I had just been warned about, the house where the truth about Xena lived. My palms were sweaty. My mouth was dry. My heart was banging against my ribs like a warning bell. What was Deji doing there? Was he part of this? Has he known all along, and just been pretending? 1,000 questions screamed in my head as I slouched down in my seat, hiding from view. I waited until he drove off, then quietly tailed his car through the rain. When we got home, I didn't waste time. I barged in behind him, slammed the door, and faced him with wild eyes. "Where were you coming from, Deji?" I asked, my voice tight and shaky. He looked confused. "What?" he asked, taking off his hoodie. "The house on Ireti Street," I said sharply. "Don't lie. I saw you." He froze for a second, and that silence felt like a knife. I was just returning a purse, he finally said. It had an ID card. I didn't want to leave it on the street. I stared at him, chest heaving. The Deji I knew, the man I loved, would do something like that. But now, nothing felt safe. Nothing felt real. I don't believe you, I whispered. Tears brimmed in my eyes. A marker, I swear, he said, reaching for me. But I stepped back. I didn't want to believe him. I didn't want to be the fool in my own story. Still, there was something in his face. In his eyes. That raw confusion. That hurt. That truth. And it made me question myself.